This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Stan Schofield, and I'm inviting all of my KWK family and my family to watch Church Without Walls, 11 o'clock on Mondays, for the greatest and latest show around. Thank you.
I'm Cynthia Lee Shang, and you're watching Church Without Walls on New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lopinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
When you look at the qualities that we need in a sheriff, we've got those qualities in our current sheriff, Joe Lopinto.
Joe Lopinto is hard at work keeping Jefferson Parish safe.
The other 4 individuals that were in the car at that point in time were apprehended without incident.
The murders that we have this year, actually only all but 1 are solved. We have a very, very high solve rate.
Our crime lab was really able to put this together within a very, very quick time.
Joe Lopinto has criminals running scared. Let's keep Joe on the job.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We always hope that you done had a great week. And the state of Louisiana, it was a great week. Tulane, LSU, and the Saints all won. And so that means everybody's a winner. When you woke up this morning, that was a win. So we thank God to be in your home, or you may be riding, wherever you may be. We are so happy that we can share 1 hour with you every Monday morning. As you know, every other month, our great sheriff in Jefferson Parish, he is our special guest. He comes to give us an update what's going on with the sheriff department, also the relationship with the community. And I know Poland's saying that he done a great job. He's here today to give us an update upon what's going on in the parish. We're going to get in on some issues later on, some of the concerns that some of the people have. But we want him, we're going to get right into the program. We want our great sheriff to tell us why should the people of Jefferson Parish re-elect him Sheriff of Jefferson Parish. So, Sheriff, have it your way. Introduce yourself any way you want to come.
Yeah, I like the way we started off. Who that? Roll wave and go Tigers, huh? I mean, who would have thought the Saints and the Tulane would have the same record right now? I don't think that'll happen, but we've been having a good weekend. Great football weekend. I mean, let's face it. We get to our other big sport in Louisiana. It's called politics. Huh? It never ends. But I think the important thing is 2 years ago, the people of Jefferson Parish gave me the opportunity for being the sheriff. And what I've done is I work hard every day. I go to work and do the best job that I can with the tools that I have. We're doing a great job in Jefferson to keep us safe. Our crime stats are still very, very low in Jefferson Parish. The lowest that we've ever had in our history. Those uniform crime reports have been tracked since 1974. And, I look at, month-to-month statistical data that comes through to see where we're missing things. And the fact of it is our burglaries, our robberies are still down considerably. In fact, we had some burglaries just the other day that, they occurred, and we end up having suspects on them already because we have our crime lab. I talk about our crime lab often. But being able to run evidence quickly gives us the opportunity. When you have DNA, when you have fingerprints, if you send that information off to state police and get it back 3 months, 6 months later, there's a lot of burglaries that can happen during that period of time. We actually know who committed the burglaries last week. We're actively looking for those people right now. Hopefully we put them in jail very quickly, and it prevents more burglaries from occurring. And that's the difference. That's what you get from the sheriff's office. You get the ability to pick up the phone, call 911, have somebody there within a very short period of time, doing meaningful police work to make sure we can solve crime quickly to hopefully prevent the next crime from happening. And what I bring to the sheriff's office is that ability that I don't lie to anybody. They come to me. We have problems like everybody else. We have 430,000 residents in Jefferson Parish. But I'm going to make sure that we do the best job that we can in order to make our community a little bit safer.
Sheriff, I want to say to our listening and viewing, we're going to open up the line later on that we can make calls. And we invite you to download your app. Tell your friend to download the app. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And we encourage you to have any question that you want to ask him. The sheriff have never, not one time, came on this show and said that I only want to answer this question, that question. Is open for any question that you want to ask him. He's very open. As long as is that use the wrong kind of language on the show. The show is open to everyone. Sheriff, I want to say what a difference, say a year and a half, 2 years make. I remember a few years ago, everybody in this Jefferson Parish was saying, "Who is Joe Lopinto?" And certainly your opponents at the time, Mr. Fortunato, everyone knew him. And the race, I think when it started off, I think you were like 20-some% in the poll.
I was.
And Mr. Fortunato was 47%. So they said, oh, it's just a win. How much he going to win the race by? He's going to be a beat down, a whooping that Mr. Fortunato going to put on Mr. Lopinto. But I can remember 2 years ago, when it came time for the coalition to make a decision upon who they wanted to support in Jefferson Parish for sheriff. And all minority organizations that I knew, all of them with Fortunato. And many people told me, said, well, I know, Charles, I know you always going to want to go get the grain. And I know you're going to go with a Pinto. But anyway, to make the story short, the group, the coalition member, we got together, we thought about it, we prayed over it, and we debated for a couple of weeks. And many group pressured us to not to support you. But I thank God that He guided us, and we talked about it. We argued a little bit over it. Some everybody in the group wasn't for you,
Right.
but now they love you. Now they know that the coalition made the right choice by endorsing you at the time, and I'm proud to say that you is our sheriff, and that we know we made the right choice.
Well, thank you. I mean, I really hate the politics about politics. I mean, being sheriff was something that was never a goal of mine. I mean, I started off as a deputy on the street, and what I've always brought to the table is qualifications. I've worked very, very hard in my life. Whether it was law school, whether it was being a deputy, being the best deputy I could be, whether it was deputy of the month, narcotics detective, being an attorney, representing criminal justice in Baton Rouge, having the knowledge that it takes to run an organization our size. And it took 7 months in order to let people know what my qualifications were. I'm glad I was able to get them out there. And now I think, now that the election's over with, people can see what I actually do bring to the table. When you take the politics out of it and you look at, okay, who is this person, what are they doing, and why are they doing it? I get that all the time. People that didn't support me last time, that had made commitments the other way last time, that contacted me during this election and said, I thought you were better qualified last time, but I'd already committed, or I had a personal relationship in the past that made me go the other way. But I'm glad you won, and I'm happy to support you this time. Has been humbling to me because it allows me to just go out there and continue to do my work.
Right, Sheriff. I'm so happy that me myself personally that I had talked to a few people who know you, and primarily a gentleman by the name of Donald Lambert, who knew your father real well.
Yeah.
And I said, "What about this Lopinto?" He said, "Father was a great man." He said, "Well, like father, like son." He said, "I would think so."
Right.
And that's how him and gentleman by name, I'll never forget. I went by their office, and I think the Hamilco was there at the time,
Yep.
and they talked with them. Said, "Charles, you need to get on board with her." And I came and talked to the organization and everybody. Said, "Oh no, we're gonna know. So everybody gonna Fortunato gonna win." I said, "No, not if we with him. He ain't gonna lose." And I thank God he was, sometimes they say if you don't toot your own horn, I don't know if I was listening, viewing all that, if they knew this or not, but we had hosted a debate for everybody to see. Always Sheriff had told people, if I like a candidate, one thing that I'm going to do, anybody ever knows me that I have supported, is that I get excited over this candidate, I get to know him. Then I want my friend to know, but the key to it, I want them to feel the same way I feel about the candidate. If everybody that I work with feel the same about Joe Lopinto or whoever is running, well, it's gonna trickle down. They're gonna be excited and gonna go tell their friend, this is a great man, a great woman. This will be the best for the citizens in Jefferson Parish. Always, Sheriff, have never really thought of myself. Always thought of other people. I don't know if that's in my gene. I don't got criticized. Hey, Charles, why you don't do nothing for yourself? But I always thought about somebody that want to help somebody. And after listening to Mr. Lambert, me and other people talk about you, and after meeting you, the debate almost didn't happen. Your camp was saying, "Oh no, we can't do it," and then y'all decided to do it. And quite naturally, Mr. Fortunato, he was begging to do it. So it happened, and here you sat here today. I think you've been a great sheriff. I know you can't control everything. I know a lot of things that goes on in the community. There's so much that people don't understand, and so much I don't understand. That's why we ask you to come here whenever you have time, and we put a discussion. I tell anybody out there listening or watching, ask the sheriff questions, because certain things I would like to know, certain things I don't know. It's a certain demand that people have out in the community that they would like to see the sheriff do, and they want you to do. And they have an opportunity to ask you, And I'm more than sure you were giving them the answer. I never seen you shortcutting the answer, like not to me. It may not come across the way they want it, but you know.
Well, what we try to do, and to give people more information, something that we've been doing for many, many years, about 10 years now, is the Citizens Academy. Our Citizens Academy runs twice a year. It's an 8-week program on Thursday nights, and we bring people in so they can know the big picture of the sheriff's office, not just the 911 where we pick up the phone and you call 911 and the deputy shows up, but knowing how 911 works, along with the jail, the operations side, the tax side, to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the sheriff's office. So if anybody's interested in the Citizens Academy, we have one that's going on right now. We'll have another one that starts up in the spring. You can go to our website at jpso.com and search Citizens Academy, fill out an application, send it in. It fills up every single year, the twice a year that we do it. But it's a great program for our citizens to be involved and understand a little bit more about the sheriff's office.
Well, you were sitting there mighty quiet.
You give me a chance. I'm listening, as always. Mr. Lopinto, tell us, what have you done to update the system as far as the sheriff's office is concerned? What have you brought to the table new for Jefferson Parish?
Well, a lot of the policing that was built off of policing that was needed 20 and 30 years ago. We have changed those dynamics. I went from more of a street crimes type system. Street crimes was out there on the street because we were dealing with street level narcotics trading, where people were on the corner dealing those types of drugs. That's changed. We all know about it. You can't tell me a street that somebody's selling drugs off of this particular street anymore, because everybody has cell phones. They have the ability to communicate with their drug dealer and drug user, meet at a particular location. So you need more long-term undercover type investigations. So I moved that system to an undercover-based narcotic system. Went from five narcotics groups to 8 narcotics groups. That is more than doubled our seizures in narcotics this year. We went from about 1.1 million in seized money last year. We're over 2.5 million, and we still have 3 months to go right now. That's just one way of changing it. Also changing to a strategic engagement team. I'm not looking to go after everybody with a little dime bag of weed on it. The fact of it is they don't get any justice in the system itself, and it doesn't do us any good as a community. I want my strategic engagement team to go after the individuals that are really causing the problems, the ones that are committing the robberies, committing the burglaries. I don't care who you are, but when you're a victim of a crime, you feel violated. And when you feel violated, I want to make sure that we can solve that crime quickly. Our detectives can use the tools through the crime lab, through their investigative skills, to be able to get somebody as a suspect. Once we have a person as a suspect, I need them to move on to the next case, because there's another case that's always right behind it, and be able to take that set team to go out and track the person down, to be able to get the person in custody, to hopefully stop the activity from occurring. Because let's face it, many of our crimes are drug related. There are people that need to continue to feed a habit, and we need to break that cycle in order to stop it.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and then afterwards there's a call on the line. So caller, please hold on, don't hang up. We'll be getting right back with you.
You are listening, you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We'll be right back.
Are you looking home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are back. You are listening. You're watching Church Without Walls. Our special guest is our Honorable Sheriff, Joseph Lopinto. He with us every other month, and he plays to do that, and he's been a man of his word. And we're so happy that he's here to answer any question that you want to ask. Anybody like to get in on this conversation, you can dial us 1-563-999-1808. And we have a caller on line 1. Go ahead on, caller.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you today?
Doing good. Good morning.
Excellent. Just before I ask the question that I have to ask, I want to just make a comment. I've never seen political signs go up so fast once a candidate determines that they're going to either run for re-election or run for the first time or second time. I want to commend you on that effort. I don't know who organized it, but I tell you, to see those diverse signs go up, and I say diverse because the colors are black and white, and I tell you, it was just everywhere you go, you see Sheriff Lopinto sign. I mean, you can't help but recognize them, and they just went up so fast, like they all went up at the same time. So very well done, very well organized.
Well, I got to give credit where credit's due. In fact, we had saved a lot of our signs from the last election, so we had them in a warehouse ready to go and ready to rock and roll if need be. But I can tell you, my biggest supporter by all means is my father. He's a retired NOPD policeman, and he's in charge of my sign crew. We've got a bunch of sign crews out there that go up there, but my dad is obviously the biggest one. So we were ready to go, and of course, qualifications ended on Thursday, and that Saturday, we had about 500 small signs in stock that went out on that Saturday morning, and then we had the I don't know how many hundreds of 4x8s that went out, also during that period of time, and I think we've ordered about 4,000 more small signs during that period of time. So I gotta thank my sign crew, especially my dad, without a doubt for it. So
it's a blessing. It's a blessing, man, to have your dad engaged and involved in that. I'm also a beneficiary of having that blessing too. But not to belabor. I have a question about the ambassador concept, Sheriff. As we all know, as residents of the parish, it does take, I guess, to some extent, the community being a true partner with the sheriffs, with law enforcement, and law enforcement obviously providing them the necessary support that it's, legally authorized to provide to the community. But have you ever given thought to the ambassador program the ambassador concept that further engages certain individuals within communities that are truly involved? They navigate the community. They know the different areas within specific communities, and they can truly become ambassadors for not only you as the sheriff, but also the office itself as it continues to fight crime and enforce the laws that we have, on the books.
the answer is yes. I mean, we always are looking for opportunities, and we continue to do so. Ambassador programs have a million different names. Let's face it, most sheriff's deputies do not solve a crime on their own. We need the community to help us, whether it's with their cameras, whether it's with their eyewitness identification. They're the ones that are testifying in front of court when it comes to crime. And we do have a good working relationship with the community. Now, there are crimes out there that I will tell you straightforward. We know who committed them, but we can't prove who committed them because the community may not work with us on a particular crime. That's the minority in Jefferson Parish because most of the time they work with us well. But the fact of it is there are some crimes that we pretty much know who it is, but if you don't have anybody that's going to identify somebody, there's not much you can do. So working with communities is something that we've continued to do. When you talk about an ambassador program, what is that program? Let's face it, I have a whole public affairs division that works in that capacity. We have an entire chaplains division. We have 72 chaplains that work for the sheriff's office that ride with our deputies that are in our jail, giving services not only to the deputies themselves, but coming out on crime scenes and administering to victims of crime or families of victims of crime, right? So we work in all kind of different capacities to try to expand that. And that never ends. It's not something that we turn away because we will work on many different programs. It's very seldom that I tell somebody no. If you come to me with some type of idea that's something that we can help with, we're going to normally be involved in it. We are always building up our youth with our Band of Excellence and our Young Marines programs to try to bring those type of programs a little bit further and further to build up the community at the young level. We have our police on campus that are at every one of our high schools to build a positive relationship with the sheriff's office. So you're trying to build that community from ground up to continue to go through. And those are different things that have changed over the last 20 years. Let's face it, we didn't have police on campus 20 years ago. We didn't have a Band of Excellence 20 years ago. So we have tried to continue those relationships to make them a little bit better. And they're all ambassadors, so it just depends on how you want to classify them.
Okay, one last question, if I may, host. As a resident of the parish, we and with social media, obviously we tend to get news every day, all day, in an instant fashion. And when there's a crime committed or a story to release, obviously, most of us now have these smartphones, and so we truly can get instantaneous information about crimes being committed. It seems like the West Bank, there's some, at least publicly in stories being released, it seems like there's been some an increase, perhaps. Maybe it's the frequency of it being reported on social media, but in the Marrero area, there seems to be, I guess, more violent crimes on the West Bank seem to be concentrated in the Marrero areas. I've noticed a lot in the last several months, a lot of shootings, some fatalities, and obviously some injuries, but a lot of shootings have occurred. And I guess in cases like that, does the sheriff office typically react, or can it be proactive, or how does it really treat when certain areas become extreme hotspots, I guess, to where there's a frequency of crimes being committed? And again, my statements are based on what I see on social media.
Sure.
It's just a question about the crimes that have occurred in the Marrero area on the West Bank lately. And do you attribute that to anything in particular? Is it a demographic issue? Is it just areas that breeds the crime, or is it migration from the city into the West Bank, and that's typically where? It's just a question.
No, happy to answer. So we average in Jefferson Parish since 1974. We average about 37 murders a year in Jefferson Parish, right? That's our normal number. We've been up to in the 60s, 68 murders. 50s, and obviously lower than that, right? In 2018, we had our third lowest year in our history of 25. Obviously, I'd love to be able to take credit for it, but let's face it, I don't necessarily know when the next murder is going to occur. So if you're going to give me credit for having the third lowest year, great, but then give me the blame for a regular year. We have had an increase in homicides from 2018 to 2019, but not from the standpoint of it is a out of the norm of what we normally have in Jefferson Parish. If you compare our 2018 year, which was our third lowest in the history, to 2019, we've had an increase in homicide. Now, if you look at violent crime as a whole, including our non-fatal shootings, our shootings are down in Jefferson Parish. And you got to remember, when you're counting so little amount of homicides, we're talking about less than 40 homicides a year. We had 7 bodies in 2 incidences. We had the 3 babies that were killed with the hammer along with their mother, and then we had the triple on the East Bank where the crazy guy was shooting people randomly, right? So that's seven different homicide victims that are counted in that total. Removing those 2 incidences out of the way, we're actually having a below average year in Jefferson Parish. Now, Marrero did have an uptick over a 2-week period of time. We had 3 different incidences within a very short period of time in Marrero. That was really unusual. Now, they weren't close. Well, 2 of the crimes were very close to each other. Another one was 3.5 miles away. None of them that we believe were actually related to each other. In fact, all 3 of those murders are solved. So we look at it from 2 different ways. If it's an ongoing feud between certain families or certain factions, obviously we're going to put additional efforts in there to try to stop retaliation-type crimes. In this case, it didn't appear to be retaliation-type crimes. It looked like many of them were drug-related or family-related, domestic-related. So we were able to get them solved within a very short period of time, and we haven't had any additional crimes, any additional murders in that area, related to them. So it depends on the crime. I mean, domestic-related, very, very difficult to prevent. If you're inviting a person in your home, the sheriff's office is going to be very difficult for us to prevent that particular type of crime. Narcotics-related murders, that's why we're doing a bigger job of trying to and go after our narcotics-related offenses by increasing our narcotics units from the 5 groups to 8 groups that I've told earlier. You're trying to cut down on that competition in order to hopefully that we don't have the murders that come along with that. It's a little bit different, but the 3 that happened in Marrero within that short period of time was absolutely an uptick with that. But when looking at the individual cases, it didn't appear that they were related at all.
Sheriff, in relation to drugs, Carl, you're finished, Carl?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
In relation to drugs in the parish and legalization of marijuana, how have you guys updated the system to deal with that?
Well, you only have legalization of marijuana with the medical marijuana. So a person has to have a valid prescription to be able to have those particular drugs. So, and they're not coming in the smokable form. They're coming in other different types of formulas that are coming from the prescription. So actual marijuana in its true sense is still illegal in Jefferson Parish. It's still illegal in the state of Louisiana. So nothing has been done from that. Only the prescription forms of the marijuana or the THC is separate, and those are clearly marked as such.
The shifting of crime in different areas, like from different cities, the shifting crime, like maybe from Lincolnshire to other streets in that. How do you view that within Jefferson Parish?
Well, years ago you used to have, when I was a policeman on the street, we had these 17 hotspots that were made. Those don't necessarily really exist anymore. There are places that obviously have economic woes. They may not have as much money in it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is succumb with poverty where the crime automatically occurs there, where the drug dealing actually occurs there. That is not the case. Because of the ability of having cell phones, everybody's mobile. So you're dealing with generations that come across from New Orleans into Jefferson and vice versa and back. And we've got to work with New Orleans Police Department on a regular basis. In fact, some of these burglaries that we're dealing with on a regular basis, we know is a crew out of Orleans Parish. And we're working with them regularly to try to make sure that we can solve it quickly to prevent both of our problems from happening. So you've got to always be flexible on any of this type, because there's no such thing as one size fits all for criminals. It's just not the case. You've got to look at the individual, facts on each case and then see where the evidence leads you.
Now the movement from New Orleans, the movement from New Orleans to the West Bank, with people coming into the West Bank right now, and we see that in most cases the crime crosses over.
Yes, but when we look at our crime statistics continue to show a decrease in crime, continuing to show a decrease in crime. Now, are many of our offenders from Orleans Parish? The answer is yes, but we also have our homegrown offenders here in Jefferson Parish also.
Yeah, we have to take a break. We're going to take another break. You are listening. You are watching Church Without Walls. Reverend Anthony Williams, and our special guest is Honorable Sheriff Lopinto, and I'm Charles Stewart. And we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to ask the sheriff some questions, a little segment I call From the Street. Yeah?
Sounds good.
A few questions from the street. We'll be back.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Yep.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are back. You are listening. You are watching Church Without Walls. Reverend Anthony Williams and Charles Stewart, our honorable sheriff, Mr. Lopinto in the studio. And he giving us an update on Jefferson Parish. We're also discussing many things that happen in this parish. And from police, and he even discussed a little business a while ago. But now we're going to talk about a little bit, and I'm going to call this a part of the show From the Street. And you were saying earlier, Sheriff, the call that talk about some of the things that happened in the railroad, in the Vinceville and Lift Farm area. I've been over there for a week. And 90% of the conversation over there is about the killing and the stuff that's going on in there. Now, I happen to know some people over there. I have family people that live over there. And I told them, I said, I guarantee with the people that I know that live in Vinceville and Lift Farm, most 90, I believe in my heart that it's not the people from that area. It's somebody from the outside that coming in. And most of the people in their neighborhood is people, most families are 50 years or more. So it's not too much crime, but drug dealers, they pick certain areas and they want to go in and claim. And I think when you go in somebody else's territory, they seem to say, you can't come in, this is my territory, stay out. And matter of fact, my cousin, I think 2 those over at an empty lot. You're probably familiar with it. A young man was killed there, I think, last week. I think she told me. So that's a
I think he was
high-powered
shot.
area.
Yeah, he was shot. I don't believe he was killed. But yeah, we've been having problems, especially at one house back there, where we've had several shootings in reference to it. And again, that's going back to one having cooperation of the community to be able to make it happen. Sometimes the victim knows who shot him and is not cooperating, or vice versa. The one from last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I know we do have cooperation on that one. I know we do have an arrest warrant. I'm not sure if the person has actually been put in jail for it, but I knew we did have an arrest warrant that was put out for the individual that did the shooting back there. And that's sometimes it happens. You end up getting the particular people off the street. In fact, we had one of the murders that we had not too long ago in Harvey was related to several shootings that we had back in that area on the East Bank, and we ended up recovering the gun that put that together. So, sometimes they all intertwine, and that goes back to our crime lab being able to, once they recover the evidence, they can actually go track it back to the 5 or 6 other shootings that it was involved with, whether they were fatal or non-fatal. We can still end up, linking them back together and trying to figure out who the players are, because you're only talking about a small group. Let's face it, there's a lot more good that happens in this community in Jefferson Parish than bad every day. We just perpetuate the negative. We talk about the fights at the high schools. Well, guess what? Yes, there's fights at high schools, and it's not fun, and I wish we didn't have any. But there's a lot more students that are getting A's there. There are a lot more students that are going to football practice. There are a lot more students going to band practice that are getting into fights. But you're not going to see all those good things on the 5 o'clock news. You're going to see somebody that's going to film a fight and going to send it out, and of course, we're going to perpetuate the negative. And that is what happens on a regular basis in our society today. We need to do a better job of talking about our positives, because we have a lot of them.
Okay, Sheriff, for the people that live in Bankville, is it any priority for that area now?
We do.
They seem to have a lot.
No, without a doubt. So
there.
that is what our strategic engagement team does. Our strategic engagement team is just not going out there and on a whim and going into certain neighborhoods and looking. They are going to specific areas where we're having specific problems, looking for specific individuals in order to cut back on some of the crime that happens there. So we ask anybody, if it's drug-related stuff, to contact us at 3NO-DRUG, 3NO-DRUG. They can contact the Detective Bureau directly at 364-5300. We want them to give us the information that we need in order to try to make their community safer. But many times the people in the neighborhood know who their problem children are. Just got to let us know who their problem children are, because, we may have a lead, but we need the evidence to be able to know what car they're driving, know what's going on, in order to hopefully, connect them to other criminal activity. And that information can come any which way. And call Crime Stoppers. Don't have to leave their name, don't have to do anything, but give us that information.
Okay, Sheriff, now we leave out of Bankville and live farm. We go, I guess you would say that's Kenner River Ridge. I think it could be River Ridge over there by the Jesse Owens Gym.
Sure.
A young man that live in the area on quite a lot of property. He's saying it's terrible over there. He work at the playground also, and he says it's dangerous over there for those kids. I can remember years ago, Sheriff, in that same area, they had the police department actually had a division over there, a precinct or something.
We did. The 4th District actually was out of that location, and our academy was out of the location. In fact, when I went through the academy in '97, that's where I went to the academy at. Now it's over here on the West Bank at our main facility.
Okay.
So we that was an old school that the sheriff's office used to utilize. That is not there anymore. But it's sporadic. The fact of it is do we have crime in the area? Of course, we have crime in my neighborhood. It's not stuff that doesn't exist. It's sporadic crime. So it's not something that is ongoing where this 2 individuals that continue to be in a beef. It's just something that occurs here or there, and look, we can normally figure out who our bad players are in the neighborhood. And we ask people to pick up the phone and call us and let us know before it gets out of hand. So,
we have a call on line 1. Go ahead on, call. Line 1.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? This is Reverend Dr. Warren D. Grant Sr. How you doing, Sheriff?
Doing good, Dr. Grant.
All right. How you doing, Reverend Williams and Brother Charles Stud?
How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing well. I was tuning in, and I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. I just want to commend the sheriff for a job well done, and I want to encourage our voters to go to the polls on this Saturday, that he might continue his work. He's certainly working hard and doing a great job in all our neighborhoods in Jefferson Parish, and we certainly thank God for the New Orleans Talk Network and how you all interact with the sheriff to make a difference in our communities. I'm proud to be your friends, and I look forward to partnering with you all in the future and making Jefferson Parish better. You guys be blessed and have a great day now.
Thank you, Dr. Grant. You had a good weekend this weekend. I think you had a church event this weekend too, didn't you?
I had a wonderful weekend. We had our annual church fest on Saturday where we connect to the community. And also we had the governor to come by on Sunday. And it was an awesome worship experience. We certainly thank God. Even one of our candidates for parish president, Cynthia Lee Shing, stopped by on Saturday and spent a great amount of time with me and with the church family and the community. I tell you, she was working with our children in the children's church and on the floor. I tell you, she's just a down-to-earth type of person. And I thank God for her track record and her legacy of leadership. And I want to encourage people also to vote your values and make the right choice for parish president. And I think Councilwoman Cynthia Lee Shane will do us much good in Jefferson Parish.
Okay, Dr. Grant, thank you there, Doc. Any other question?
No, look, y'all have a good day. I'm busy, about to get a little work done, but we're praying for you all, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Doc. Thanks for the prayers. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Okay,
we getting pretty close. Sheriff, one we're not gonna be able to ask you all these questions that people ask me, but one of them a question that people asked me several times. On La Palco, the club 3Gs, and the club owner was shot. I think it shot like 4 times, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But they said that they haven't heard anything about that case. Like it's like a cold case already. It's on investigation.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean,
Okay.
wasn't he escorting somebody out? I'm not 100% sure on the specifics on that.
From my understanding that he was fighting with someone and they went out of the club and he was walking on the way back in. Some young man came from the sideline, shot him in the back 4 times. And nobody, people ask me, say, man, I never hear no kind of report on that. What happened to that? Like, it's a cold case already? Like, I happened to see him on Facebook the other day. He looked really well. They say he could be paralyzed from the... I don't even know if that's true. I'm only repeating.
I don't know. I don't know the specifics on that particular case. I remember when it happened, but I don't know if he's... I don't know if we had somebody in custody or if we have a warrant or if it is unsolved at this point in time. I don't know the answer. I can certainly find out for you, but I just don't know the answer to that question as we sit here.
Okay, and the last question from the street, one of the coaches over there in Kenner, they want to know, is it any possibility in the plan in the future that that station that y'all had by the Jefferson Gym would ever be reopened? Is that under consideration in the thought?
No, we've upgraded all of our district stations now, and our 4th district station is now not too far from that location, but it's on Airline Highway right there by Zephyr Field.
Yeah,
and we have that new station that are all hurricane proof and off the ground and give us the ability and capabilities to be able to go 24 hours a day and 7 days a week and during storms. So the chance of us opening a substation back there is probably slim to none because all 4 of our new district stations are now open. We just opened our last one in Fat City about 6 months ago now. So now they're all upgraded.
Now, those buildings owned by the sheriff department?
They are. No, also
the old 4th District, we were talking about back there off of the playground, was a parish-owned building.
Okay.
But all 4 of the district stations that are open now are sheriff's-owned buildings.
Yeah, we're going to try to get one more quick call in. Go ahead on, caller.
That's a whole
Mr. Charles.
Oh.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, Mr. Charles? Reverend Williams. How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Okay, great. How you doing today, Sheriff?
I'm doing
great
wonderful.
To have you back in studio. It's favorite time of year, huh? Campaign season.
Hey, look, it comes around every few years.
Well, I heard the gentleman speaking earlier about how quickly you guys got into campaign mode right after the announcement that happened over the news and stuff like that. So appreciate you having transparency with that whole situation and letting everybody immediately know what was going on and gearing up for exciting campaign. It's an exciting time in Jefferson Parish right now. As you already know, there's the council race that's going on in Jefferson Parish, definitely the largest race in the parish at this current moment, and is in dealing with District 3 and all of the current things that's going on in District 3. So I've had an opportunity to go out to a few forums and listen to all the candidates and some of the issues that's going on in the community. It is apparent that at every community forum we've been to, each one of these council candidates have a plan for you, the sheriff. If you win, which it seems as though with all the polls showing in Jefferson Parish, you will. All of these candidates have a plan for you. Each of them is different and very unique to each candidate. And I was just curious to know, is it a vice versa thing with you? With a new current council, council member Mark Spears, he's term limited. So, you're going to have a new council member in District 3. So I was just curious to know if you had any plan for anyone that was coming in to work with that council member or, something like that, because it's apparent and some of the issues they're dealing with is, crime cameras, body cameras, more presence for speeding in certain communities and stuff like that. So I just wanted to know if you had any strategies after the campaign season come January when everyone gets their new job.
Yeah,
if you had.
Let's face it. That's one thing that I've been always very good at. I get politics out of the way. Once an election's over with, let's get in a room and let's work through our issues of what we have to do. Many times people will say different things, but they don't really know how it affects them or how you actually gain that issue or even deal with that issue. So they can say things during a campaign, but when you sit in a room with them and you go, this is the reality and this is where we're at, they go, oh, well, I didn't know that. I'm like, I know you didn't. So I let campaigns take care of themselves. It really doesn't make a difference to me of who the 7 council members are. Obviously, there'll be people that I support over periods of time because of my relationships or friends with them or whatever the case may be. But even if my candidates lose, it doesn't matter because what I do is I always try to get people in a room and try to figure out what's best for the parish and then how do we come to those issues and those problem-solving ways together. Whether the District 3, I know there's 11 people in a race. Obviously there'll probably be 2 of them, after this weekend, and then they'll go from there. I'm sure I'll have more conversations with them after that point. And we'll work through problems, and I've given people suggestions and different things, and some of those candidates have met with me and contacted me and said, hey, Sheriff, what's your thoughts about this? So I don't lead anybody in the wrong direction, whether they're the last place candidate or the person at the top of the polls. I'll meet with any one of them and try to lead them in the right direction to give them the information that they need to help them out, because if they're in it for the right reasons, we all win at the end of the day.
Okay, I had one more question for you, Sheriff. And we talked about the council just now. And I just had a question dealing with the state representatives. You have a lot of state representatives coming through Jefferson Parish. Is there a plan of what you have working with the state representatives in Jefferson Parish after everything is all said and done?
I do. Look, I know that business a lot because I was a state representative for 9 years.
State representative, yes.
And
I'm
so
sure you will.
I know what they have to deal with in Baton Rouge, so I'm a little bit more involved with some of those races because some of the things that they decide on
directly affect the sheriff's office and Jefferson Parish. So I'll get involved with a few of those races, but more importantly, I'm always communicating with them on bills that they have being proposed before the legislature. We have our own staff on the sheriff's office that monitor those bills, so that way we can, provide them with information to say this is what's good, this is what's bad, and then they have to make decisions. And look, sometimes those decisions go my way, sometimes they don't go my way, but I don't want them to be misinformed with some of the information. We're not all experts in our own field. When I was in Baton Rouge, I was an expert in criminal justice, but I was not an expert on insurance, and I don't claim to be. So we all have our own fields. We all try to make those decisions, and I can give them the information where I believe helps them the most.
Well, thank you for being transparent with those questions, and again, thank you for being a man in Jefferson Parish, being our sheriff, and going through everything you need to go through to be our sheriff. I know it's not an easy job, but we appreciate you, and we thank you. We're very thankful to have you as our sheriff.
Yeah, thanks for having
Mr.
me. Appreciate
Lopinto.
it.
Sheriff,
All right, thanks for taking my call.
We about to wrap it short. We got the closing statement. Yeah.
Never have that.
You're dead, you're dead.
It's a wrap it up easy.
So you want to, you can tell the listening audience.
Tell the people why they should vote for
you're
you.
running.
Well, look, what voting for me is something easy. I maintain and manage 1,500 men and women that work for the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. They go out there and work every single day to try to make this community a little bit safer. I do it with transparency. I do it with honesty. Guess what? Sometimes we make mistakes, and we'll continue to do it because we're human like everybody else. But the fact of it is we do a very, very good job in Jefferson Parish of working through the issues to try to make it a little bit better place. And if you like what you see with Joe Lopinto, I give you what you can see. I ask you to vote for me in order to keep me in that position. And, we'll be back here again 2 months from now. So.
And Sheriff, I always want to say that I asked Cynthia Machine that if she win, I asked her, I told her that every 3 months that something that Church Without Walls article that she wanted to do is hold a town hall meet with everyone from the sheriff department, which we hope would be you, which we know it's going to be you, the past president, councilman, and mainly the councilman in District 3 and 2 at large council. All those people come together, say every 3 months, and get the people like update of what's going on in the community. Have a better relationship with y'all guys because that make y'all job easier. Then it to me, it brings everybody together instead of pinning them against each other. One thing that's going to happen in any election, it does pin people against each other. People upset, they mad because they side and win. But when the election's over with, how do we bring the people back together?
Right.
So win or lose, I know my candidates. I think all of them going to win, but I still the one that loses. We want to bring everybody together. Hope the sheriff that you will commit to that, and Ms. James that you commit to it. Every 3 months we would have a building. Maybe we can get one hotel that does have one of their big rooms that we can bring. Many people want to come and they can talk to the sheriff. And this will be one big old family. Let's Jefferson Parish set a new standard how communities could live together and have your kids. Well, I can say my grandkids. We want a better life for them,
right?
And we want our parish to go and for those. So hopefully, Sheriff, that that's something that we can do in the future.
If you can do a collaboration of constructive minds together, and they can sit down and reason with one another and not fight with one another, then we can accomplish a whole lot more than we're accomplishing now within the parish.
People overseas, they even stop fighting for a while and sit down and talk. So again, that comes to the end of our show, and we thank the sheriff for stopping by the studio, and we certainly hope that you enjoyed this show. I know I'm saying myself, I know it was a great show today, and we thank you for listening and watching. And we want you to know that we love you. On behalf of Dr. William and our great sheriff, have a great week and go vote. Saturday, go vote. Bring your little girl, your little boy with them. Let them see you vote. Vote for them till they get old enough. Until then, what we said, Dr. William?
Ain't no such thing as being half dead.
If you're dead, you're what,
dead.
Sheriff?
You're dead.
Okay, we'll see y'all next week.
Kick it for me one time.
When you look at the qualities that we need in a sheriff, we've got those qualities in our current sheriff, Joe Lopinto.
Joe Lopinto is hard at work keeping Jefferson Parish safe.
The other 4 individuals that were in the car at that point in time were apprehended without incident.
The murders that we have this year, actually only all but 1 are solved. We have a very, very high solve rate.
Our crime lab was really able to put this together within a very, very quick time.
Joe Lopinto has criminals running scared. Let's keep Joe on the job.